By 2050, owning a superyacht won't be about money. It'll be about something else entirely. Something most people will never qualify for. Not because they can't afford it, but because they don't understand what it's really for. What you're about to see isn't designed to impress anyone. It is built for people who've stopped caring about being seen. They only care about the absolute luxury. Here's what changes by mid-century. Wealth stops announcing itself. It goes quiet. This yacht isn't measured by how long it is or what it costs. Those numbers exist, but they're meaningless now. What matters is access. Access to luxury, to silence, to places that stay unreachable no matter how crowded this planet gets. For the person who owns this, the ocean isn't a view. It's protection. Every decision in this design answers one question. How do you stay unreachable when the entire world is connected? Not hidden, not cut off. Unreachable. There's a difference, because by 2050, attention becomes the scarcest thing on Earth. Not money, not time, attention. And this yacht is designed to defend it. From the outside, it doesn't try to get noticed. The shape is clean, calm. No aggressive angles meant for headlines. The form is deliberate, quiet, practically invisible, yet beautiful. That's the idea. Real power doesn't need decoration. Inside, that philosophy gets even clearer. This yacht wasn't built to entertain people. It was built to remove the outside world completely. News, noise, notifications, interruptions, all engineered out. Nothing here demands your attention. Everything responds to your presence. And that's why most wealth will never touch something like this. Not because they lack the money, because they still need recognition. They still want proof. They still want people to see them enjoying what they own. The owner of this yacht doesn't. In 2050, the top tier won't compete for attention. They'll build systems that eliminate the need for it. Their possessions won't be visible trophies. They'll be environments. Mobile, private, completely self-contained. This yacht is one of those environments. It moves without rush. It anchors without presence. It hosts without exposure. From the outside, it looks peaceful. From the inside, it feels untouchable. And once you step through that entrance, everything changes. The moment you walk inside, something unexpected happens. Not excitement, not shock, relief. The world you left doesn't follow you in. There's no dramatic entrance designed to overwhelm you. The shift is subtle, almost gentle. One step forward, and the outside quietly loses its grip. Sound drops first, not into emptiness, but into a kind of controlled calm, like the yacht absorbed everything unnecessary before you arrived. This interior is calm yet beautiful and luxurious. At the center sits what you might call an atrium, but that word doesn't really fit. It's not a showpiece. It's more like a regulator, a vertical space that organizes everything without making a scene. Light moves through it the way time moves through a private estate. Unhurried, deliberate, never rushed. There's scale here, but it doesn't press down on you. The ceiling opens gradually. You don't notice it rising until you've already relaxed into it. The proportions are restrained, designed to feel open without reminding you how massive this vessel actually is. This is space without intimidation. As you move through the main areas, you're never told where to go. The yacht assumes you already know how to exist in places like this. Hallways are wide, but understated, bending gently instead of stretching straight. Every turn feels intentional, like privacy has been woven into the layout itself. Sound behaves differently here. Footsteps disappear before they echo. Conversations feel contained, even in open spaces. There's no hum of engines reminding you this thing is moving. Silence isn't accidental. It's engineered. Layered materials, floating surfaces, hidden separations, all working together so nothing intrudes unless you invite it. In 2050, silence isn't emptiness. It's control. The lounges don't revolve around furniture or focal points. They revolve around balance. Seating feels less like a layout and more like separate zones, subtle territories that let you exist without being watched, even when others are nearby. Natural light is everywhere, but you never see where it's coming from. No obvious windows demanding attention. Instead, light enters like it belongs, diffused through architectural cuts and concealed openings that shift throughout the day. Morning light feels cool and wide. Afternoon light turns warmer, heavier. By evening, the interior seems to glow from within instead of relying on the outside at all. This isn't decoration. It's orchestration. Artificial light never competes with daylight. It waits. When it appears, it does so softly adjusting itself without ceremony. No visible fixtures asking to be admired. Light behaves like atmosphere, not an object. Materials follow the same logic. Nothing shiny, nothing temporary. No surfaces chosen because they photograph well. Instead, you find textures that feel grounded, stone with subtle grain, wood treated to age instead of sparkle, metals finished to soften over time rather than reflect. These materials aren't meant to look new. They're meant to stay relevant. This interior doesn't chase trends because it doesn't belong to a single moment. It belongs to a lifetime. Even the way spaces connect reflects that. There's no rush from one area to the next. Movement feels optional. You can pause without being in the way. You can pass through without being noticed. The yacht doesn't reward speed. It rewards being present. From some angles, the ocean disappears completely. From others, it reappears suddenly, framed so carefully it feels intentional rather than accidental. The line between inside and outside is never harsh. It dissolves gradually, reminding you this vessel exists between worlds without fully belonging to either. You start to notice how little there is to notice. No screens taking over walls. No obvious tech competing for your focus. Climate, sound, lighting, everything adjusts itself without being asked. The yacht anticipates instead of reacts. You don't control it. You coexist with it. And that's the real luxury here. Not abundance. Not excess. Effortlessness. Nothing demands a decision. Everything feels resolved before you arrive. The result is an interior that doesn't stimulate. It stabilizes. It doesn't entertain. It absorbs. It lets your mind slow down without ever feeling trapped. This is what it means to remove the world. By the time you've moved through the main spaces, something strange happens. You stop thinking about where you are. The yacht succeeds in becoming invisible. Not physically, but mentally. And once that happens, you start to see the real structure. Because beyond these shared areas lies a different level entirely. Once the shared spaces fade, the yacht gets quieter in a new way. Not emptier, more selective. This is where things stop being collective and start becoming personal. The shift is subtle, but it changes everything. Movement slows. Sightlines narrow. The atmosphere feels tighter, like the yacht itself is drawing boundaries without closing doors. The guest suites come first. They don't feel like cabins. Each one has the precision of a flagship hotel residence. Ceilings stay high. Materials stay consistent, calm, lasting, unforced. Beds are positioned for grounding, not views. Guests are never reminded they're at sea unless they choose to be. Bathrooms feel carved instead of built, with stone that carries weight and temperature. Lighting responds to presence, not switches. Storage vanishes into walls. Tech stays silent. Every suite offers privacy, but it's managed privacy, thoughtfully complete and intentionally limited. These rooms offer comfort without authority. As you go deeper into the private areas, the hierarchy gets more obvious, not through size alone, but through independence. Spaces start to detach from the rest of the yacht. Hallways shorten. Access points reduce. The feeling of being hosted gives way to the feeling of belonging. This is where the owner's world begins. The shift into the owner's suite isn't dramatic. There's no grand threshold, no statement piece announcing you've arrived. Instead, the space opens with quiet confidence, like it's always existed separately from everything around it. Calling it a bedroom doesn't fit. This is territory. The owner's suite works like a self-contained residence, divided into zones instead of rooms. Sleeping, lounging, working, thinking, each happens in its own pocket, separated not by walls but by shifts in light, material, and proportion. The bed isn't centered. It's placed where silence runs deepest. Scale changes here. Ceilings lift slightly. Windows widen subtly. Enclosure dissolves, replaced by controlled openness that feels both private and expansive. This is the only place on board where the yacht fully yields to one person. Materials get warmer, more tactile. Wood grains deepen. Textures soften. Surfaces invite touch instead of observation. Nothing feels staged. Everything feels claimed. Beyond the sleeping area, the owner's private deck extends the suite outward, blurring the line between interior and horizon. This deck isn't for gatherings. It isn't optimized for views. It exists for solitude. Seating is sparse. Space is left intentionally empty. From here, the ocean feels less like scenery and more like distance, creating separation instead of attraction. This deck doesn't show off the yacht. It removes everything else. What becomes clear is the owner doesn't live on board the way guests do. They don't stay here. They operate from here. Their spaces aren't just about comfort. They're about control, continuity, permanence. Privacy here isn't about hiding. It's about sovereignty. By the time you leave this domain, the rest of the yacht feels different. Not worse, contextual. You understand that everything you've seen exists to support this center of gravity. But life here isn't only about rest. Beyond these quarters lies another layer, one built not for retreat, but for command. The shift from private living to operational space is immediate. Rest becomes readiness. As you move upward, the mood sharpens. These aren't places designed for comfort. They're designed to keep you precise. This is where the yacht stops being a retreat and becomes a tool. The sky lounges sit above everything else, elevated not for show, but for separation. From here, the horizon stretches uninterrupted, positioned not for inspiration, but for awareness. You don't look out to feel anything. You look out to stay informed. These spaces are quiet differently. Sound is absorbed, not softened. Conversations don't echo. The air feels lighter, clearer, like distraction has been filtered out. Seating faces each other, not the view, reinforcing what matters. The outside stays visible, but never central. This isn't leisure. The business room continues that logic. It doesn't look like a traditional command center. No long tables for display. No screens dominating walls. Tech is there, but it stays peripheral, responding only when needed. The room itself is neutral, almost bare. Materials are darker, heavier, more grounded. Light is controlled, focused, directional. Everything supports concentration without demanding attention. This is a space built for decisions that don't need approval. Here, distance becomes power. From this height, the yacht's position is never random. Sight lines are deliberate. Angles are calculated. You're always aware of where you're relative to everything else. Ports, other vessels, coastlines, airspace. Observation isn't passive. It's constant. These elevated spaces make something clear. The owner never disconnects. Even moving, even anchored, even removed from the public world, influence stays active. The yacht doesn't pause life on land. It relocates control. Meetings happen here not because it's impressive, but because it's insulated. No interruptions, no leaks, no audience. Privacy at this level isn't luxury. It's infrastructure. What separates these spaces from fantasy is restraint. Nothing's exaggerated. Nothing announces power. There's no attempt to look futuristic or threatening. Authority comes from function, not appearance. This is control disguised as calm. The sky lounges and business areas don't exist to showcase wealth. They exist to preserve continuity of decision-making, of awareness, of influence. The yacht doesn't interrupt the owner's world. It carries it intact across oceans. And yet, despite the control these spaces provide, they stay visually quiet. From outside, you'd never guess their importance. No dramatic structures. No visual hints about what happens inside. Which is exactly the point. Because all of this, every layered interior, every private zone, every operational space, exists within a body that was never meant to be noticed. From the outside, none of that is visible. That's the first thing the exterior makes clear. After everything happening within, control, hierarchy, constant awareness, the body refuses to explain itself. No attempt to communicate what it contains. No visual signal of status. No architectural moves meant to dominate a harbor or grab attention from shore. The silhouette is smooth, restrained, almost understated. Lines don't cut aggressively. They glide. Edges soften where other yachts sharpen. Proportions feel balanced instead of imposing, like the vessel is deliberately avoiding scale as a statement. From a distance, it doesn't look like a trophy. It looks like something designed to pass unnoticed. This anonymity is intentional. In 2050, visibility becomes risk. The most powerful assets are those that can exist without being tracked, photographed, or discussed. This yacht's exterior reflects that reality. It doesn't announce arrival. It absorbs it. Decks are layered in a way that feels protective instead of social. No wide terraces for crowds. No single spot meant to gather attention. Instead, outdoor spaces unfold gradually, tucked into the structure, shielded by overhangs and subtle recesses. Privacy isn't added. It's built in. Each exterior zone feels separate, disconnected from the others without feeling confined. You can be outside without being seen. You can observe without being observed. Railings are minimal, often invisible. Barriers exist, but they're psychological instead of physical. The ocean becomes background, not performance. Seating is sparse and intentional. Nothing's arranged to encourage activity or spectacle. These decks aren't for entertainment. They're for presence. Standing here doesn't make you feel exposed. It makes you feel removed. Even movement across the exterior is controlled. Pathways curve gently, breaking direct sight lines. Surfaces absorb light instead of reflecting it. At night, the yacht doesn't glow. It dims. This is beauty without exhibition. The hull reinforces that philosophy. It avoids dramatic contrasts or decorative features. Finishes are muted, designed to age quietly instead of sparkle. The body feels unified, uninterrupted, less like stacked decks and more like one continuous form. There's a sense the yacht doesn't want to be interpreted. From certain angles, it almost disappears into its surroundings. Sea and sky take precedence. The vessel becomes a moving absence, defined more by what it withholds than what it shows. And that restraint says something more powerful than spectacle ever could. This yet doesn't compete with other vessels. It doesn't need to. It exists outside that economy entirely. It moves through harbors, coastlines, and open water without seeking validation, carrying its world quietly within. Standing on its decks, you don't feel on display. You feel unreachable. By 2050, this yacht won't be remembered for how it looked. It'll be remembered for what it represented. Because beneath the design, the silence, the restraint, this vessel reveals a deeper shift in how power chooses to exist. Luxury at this level isn't about accumulation anymore. It's about subtraction, removing noise, removing exposure, removing the need to participate in a world that no longer serves you. This yet isn't an escape. It's a filter. It lets its owner stay informed without being accessible, present without being visible, powerful without being public. In the future, the most valuable thing won't be what you can show. It'll be what you can disappear into. Yachts like this won't exist to impress. They'll exist as moving sovereign spaces for those who don't need validation, headlines, or proximity to influence because they already operate beyond it. If you're drawn to this world, where luxury is intentional, private, and quietly dominant, then subscribe to Luminera Rides. We explore the most exclusive, forward-thinking superyachts ever imagined, and the future of elite living they represent. Because the next era of luxury won't ask for attention. It will simply withdraw and remain untouchable.